What else can I say about the game that is responsible for showcasing numerous nightmare-inducing scenes that so many of us were left traumatized as kids? I'd say playing through this beautifully disturbing kids game that is considered the black sheep in terms of aesthetic and theming compared to most other Zelda titles is well worth it for the huge variety of reasons. Many replay this classic to sharpen their skills at trying to beat the game as quickly as possible. Others may revisit it to appreciate the tragic life stories of every individual character and remind us that although they are technically fictitious, they can still teach us a valuable life lesson. For me, well, I have always enjoyed the creativity of the designs and functionality of every mask in the game that Link is able to wear. As you can tell by now, the entirety of Majora's Mask revolves around masks, as they are considered symbolic and acts as an extension of those who had departed from the physical world. What I like about the 24 wearable masks in this game are the exceptionally unique designs. Some are more useful than others, but that brings up the main question of the video. How useful would these masks be to an average human being if he or she wore them in our world? They will function exactly like how inside the game, but the in-game specific masks may be considered useless if brought into our world. I will rate each based on the practicality and determine the value based on how a normal person would use them to benefit. Without further ado, let's dive right in. Starting with of course the Deku Mask, one of the 4 transformative masks. This mask appears after Link has been cured after being cursed by Skull Kid. It is implied that the mask contains the soul of the Deku Butler's son, which is interesting. But imagine none of that matters and you happen to stumble upon it and put it on just to be silly, and suddenly find yourself in the body of a strange short creature with a sudden urge to hop on water, shoot bubbles, and use certain flowers to fly. However, I'm pretty sure flowers that enable you to fly don't exist in the real world, so that just leaves you with the ability to hop on water for a bit and shoot bubbles. But that requires magic, and there aren't too many convenient spots to refill your magic here. You realize that using this form in your world doesn't seem to be purposeful, so you attempt to remove it from your face and find yourself back to normal surprisingly. Now, using the Deku Mask in this game is crucial for progressing, but none of that matters, so there really is no point of wearing this here. So I rate the Deku Mask at 30 out of 100 in terms of usefulness. Next up is the Goron Mask, which contains the soul of Darmani in the Goron Graveyard. Now, this is exponentially more useful compared to the Deku Mask, as it grants the user exceptional strength and allows them to move heavy objects, roll around ball form to traverse at fast speeds, walk on lava, pound the ground, and punch with fists of fire. Anyone who happens to put on this devastating mask should be extra cautious as to not harm others by accident due to the mask's strength. Personally, using this newfound power, I will use it to speed up construction by lifting heavy objects, or volunteer as a firefighter to help rescue people stuck under heavy objects inside of a burning house, and punch through the debris to make a way out, while being careful not to escalate the already risky situation. Rolling a ball form at fast speeds can be a useful way to travel while saving money on transportation fees. Bearing all these in mind, I would say being a Goron seems to yield way more benefits than the Deku Mask, so I will rate the Goron Mask at 90 out of 100 in terms of usefulness. Next is a Scaly Zora Mask that contains the soul of Mikau, the Indiegogo's guitarist. Whoever wears this mask possesses the ability to swim in the water with relative ease, fly underwater skillfully, and use boomerang-like fins for combat. In terms of usefulness, I would say swimming underwater will be really helpful if you're a lifeguard, and use this ability to save lives. I'm not sure about the finding underwater aspect though. They can also use this ability to capture some really nice photographs of oceanic wildlife by swimming for long periods of time and snapping pictures. People can use it to train rookies on how to swim properly and guide them to deeper waters to help fulfill the goals and maintain their physical health. I guess it really depends on the wearer of the mask and their intentions, but I would say the Zora Mask seems to yield many positive aspects that prove to be useful for everyday situations. For these reasons, I rate the mask at 79 out of 100 in terms of usefulness. Next is the Fierce Deity's Mask, and is the final transformational one. This can only be obtained by giving all 20 of your normal masks to the Moon Children, and they'll give you this instead. This mask can only be used in boss rooms and can multiply your strength during battle, and shoot sword beams as well as turning you into an adult Link. Remember, there are no boss rooms in the real world, so wearing this mask pretty much does nothing. However, you can wear it to make your Fierce Deity Link cosplay very authentic, or use as decor in your display shelf, but that's pretty much it since it's mainly used for combative purposes. That is why I rate this mask at 30 out of 100 in terms of usefulness. The first normal mask is the Grey Fairy's Mask. The whole point of wearing this is to track stray fairies in the same room as you are in order to collect them. But since there are no such thing as fairies in the real world, that we know of at least, this mask is useless other than being used for cosplay. I'm sensing a pattern here. Unless you'd like to get in touch with your feminine side, go right for it and put a wig and mask on. I rate the Grey Fairy's mask in 19 out of 100 in terms of usefulness. Next is Kafei's mask, and its entire purpose is to gather information about Kafei, which again is a game specific mission and is entirely useless in our world. I guess you could wear this to save yourself the trouble dyeing your hair purple if you were planning on doing that, but other than that, I rate Kafei's mask in 9 out of 100 in terms of usefulness. Next is Bremen mask. This is perhaps the first normal mask with a somewhat useful function. It allows the wearer to play marching music and causes small animals to follow them from behind. If you have an instrument on hand, this can be handy to guide animals back to the shacks if you're working on a farm or pet store, or somewhere involving animals. I guess this would be nice to have if you're feeling lonely and want to have a bunch of small animal friends to keep you company. Other than that, there's not many true uses for this mask. I rate the Bremen mask at 44 out of 100 in terms of usefulness. Next is Kamaro's mask. This is a bit of a weird one as its literal purpose is to teach a couple of dancers a specific dance routine. I guess this will be useful if you're a professional dance instructor and want to teach students a new dance routine as part of the session. Other than that, I don't see any way this can be used in everyday life. Maybe others can find more ways, but as I see it, I rate the Kamaro's mask at 30 out of 100 in terms of usefulness. Next is the Blast mask. Perhaps the first notable weaponized mask, which is primarily used to blow things up but can damage the wearer if they're not properly protected against explosions. This can be used by demolition experts to save on costly materials used to craft bombs. They can instead invest in protected gear and repeatedly use the blast mask to blow unwanted buildings down and make way for more suitable facilities and improve life overall. However, it is advised to not let this dangerous mask get into the hands of people who wish to use its power with malicious intent. I rate the blast mask at 71 out of 100. Next is the bunny hood. This cute little headband resembling bunny ears grants the wearer the ability to run twice as fast and jump twice as far too. This will be super useful for any hardworking person who wish to increase work productivity, as they are able to accomplish many things by moving quickly and jumping far to save on travel fees. This can be worn by cops to catch criminals much faster, but at the same time, criminals who find this first will evade the justice system easily, so it's a double-edged sword and must ensure it is in the right hands. I rate the bunny hood in 95 out of 100. Next is the Kitan mask, which is an in-game thing where a Kitan fox will appear and ask Link a series of quiz questions, and upon answering it correctly, will reward him a piece of heart. I'm pretty sure there's no Tagi fox that will give you a reward for answering his quiz questions in real life. If you're in the mood of pretending to be a fox, then by all means. I rate the Kitan mask at 20 out of 100 in terms of usefulness. Next is the Postman's hat. The entire purpose of it is to collect rupees out of the post boxes around Clocktown. In the real world, I'm positive doing that will yield many consequences, and highly recommend not stealing from post boxes, unless you want to go to prison. If you have a kid who wants to pretend they're a postman or want to dress as one for Halloween, this will be a great hat to wear. I rate the Postman's head at 19 out of 100 in terms of usefulness. Next is the Mask of Truth. This is perhaps one of the most useful masks to wear in reality and should be used with caution. It allows the wearer to read the minds of small animals by picking them up. This can ultimately increase your chances of winning gambling sessions to pick the winner of the animal who will win in a race. Depending on the person, if you're a moral individual who tries to be honest, then using this mask to communicate with your pets is the way to go. If you're a hardcore gambler and need money instantly and don't care about cheating other people of their hard-earned cash, then use the Mask of Truth to rig the game in your favor. Just try to be discreet about it and don't get caught since it looks kinda obvious. I rate the Mask of Truth at 96 out of 100 in terms of usefulness. Next is the Mask of Sense. This mask allows the wearer to increase their sense of smell and can detect rare mushrooms within their vicinity and can sell them to mushroom experts for a quick cash. It's a more honest way of acquiring an income compared to the dishonest nature of the Mask of Truth, but can take a while to find the rare mushrooms because they're, rare. I would say this mask is very helpful for mushroom enthusiasts. Therefore, I rate the Mask of Sense a 87 out of 100 in terms of usefulness. Next is Don Gero's mask. The entire point of wearing this is to recruit the frog choir members to reunite. This will be used as reality as there's no need to gather singing frogs in real life, although admittedly, having your own singing frog choir sounds really cool. I rate Don Gero's mask a 10 out of 100 in terms of usefulness. Next is Romani's mask, which allows Link to purchase milk at the milk bar in Clocktown freely. I don't understand why he needs to wear a cow mask to be able to purchase milk in the first place, but I assume it's supposed to be an alcoholic beverage. But in the real world, we have no use for that here since anyone over the age of 21 can purchase booze. I rate Romani's mask at 5 out of 100 in terms of usefulness. The following 8 remaining masks are considered to be in-game specific, as they primarily involve fighting monsters and other details that are considered irrelevant in our world. So to save time, I have decided to rate the Garrow's mask, Captain's hat, Stone mask, Circus Leader's mask, All Night mask, Gibdo mask, Couple's mask, and Giant's mask at 5 out of 100 in terms of usefulness. Well, that's it for all the masks in the N64 version. Who knew that some masks in Majora's Mask were considered to be pretty helpful for the average person, such as the Bunny Hood and the Mask of Truth? It's interesting trying to see through the perspective of someone who's not Link, and determine the value of these masks based on how we see them fit. However, it was fun writing the script and researching. With all that being said, thank you for watching. Which mask is your favorite? And please like and subscribe if you want to for more videos like these.